everyone, this is Jeanette Martin of the MYBC Consulting, also known as Move Your Bum Chum Consulting Facebook page, and the owner of this particular fun way to get to know people. It's Where in the World is a W5 Story Session today with who?
With Manny.
So Manny, tell us 5 who's. What are 5 who hats that you wear in this world?
Oh, 5. Well, I'm a husband and a father. That's one who. I'm also an immigrant to Canada. Well, already a Canadian, but 12 years ago I came to Canada. So I'm Canadian, Israeli Canadian. I'm also a nurse in an ICU, a real estate investor, and a mortgage broker. So I have a lot of who's.
I know, don't we when you think about that word, it's like, oh my gosh, I do wear a lot of who hats. So as a dad, I'm going to unpack 2 of them so people can get to know, and I can get to know your W5 story a little deeper. So as a dad, what are some of the things you like to do with your children? Let's answer that question first.
Oh, that's a quick one. I tried to get away from their mom's way of raising. I realized that she would do a way better job than I would. And I'm just trying to let her follow her leads. Just follow her lead.
That goes to the phraseology, happy wife, happy life, I think that is where that comes from. And let's unpack the mortgage broker. Well, you know what, there's 2. Yeah, I'm going to break my own rule. I'd love to know, what do you do as an ICU nurse? Let's kind of answer that question.
So I still work in one of the busiest ICUs in the Western Canada. We just spent the whole pandemic taking care of patients with complicated COVID infections. So yes, COVID is a real thing. Yes, we need to be as careful as we can and follow all the guidance as much as we can to not get it. And maybe this is a place to give a big shout out for all the nurses, and with them all the first responders. That's, we're talking paramedics, firefighters, police department. Some of them, we don't really realize that firefighters and paramedics are actually going into people's dwelling, and they are the most exposed and the least protected, and with basically no backup, right? So they're really, my heart goes to you guys. And then in the hospital, everybody's still talking about doctors and nurses, but we have a huge staff supporting our work there. It goes to stores attendant, housekeeping, security, right? That in the first wave, like security would have, cleared the way because we didn't know what we're dealing with and how much distance we need and all those things. And there's a lot of people involved in really, really close contact. So
special shout out to them. So
absolutely.
Next who hat was your mortgage broker. So what do you do as a mortgage broker?
So as a mortgage broker, I really hope that none of my lender partners are tuning in to this, because they're not going to
give all your secrets, Manny.
Yeah, no, they're not going to like this answer, but I really believe that my job is to keep the most amount of money in my clients' pockets. Really, that's what I think. That's what I tell myself that I'm doing. That's why I feel so good about doing what I'm doing, because it's not only that it's the biggest purchase that people ever do. It's not only that it's the longest commitment that people ever take. It's also the most expensive one, right? So if I can make a small tweak or a little difference that keeps more money in my clients' pockets and not in the lender's pockets, then I've done my job right.
So where can you help people in the world being a mortgage broker? Where's your area that you serve?
So I'm actually always a little bit jealous of you, Jeanette, because your business is really global. Like, you can do what you do for anybody, anywhere and you do it well. And I saw your group that is connected to the States. And unfortunately, my world is a little bit more limited. And the limitation is basically Canada-wide.
Well,
So
we're a pretty big country, my
we
friend.
are we are a big country. I do like to concentrate on BC
Okay.
files and clients because I know this market best because I live here and I know all the little nuances.
Right.
I'm licensed in other provinces as well. I don't really like doing it because I can't go and have a coffee with my client. I can't go to give my client the keys with the realtor that we try to do. We're not always lined up, but we really try to do that. I can't shake my client's hand. So it's a little bit of a dings the happiness a little bit. But we do Canada wide.
Okay.
And sometimes it's a province that I'm not personally licensed in, but then we have a youth support group. I'm part of Mortgage Architects. That's the fastest growing network now in Canada. And Mortgage Architects itself is part of the DLC group of companies, and everybody would know Dominion Lending. So they kind of bought us, and they bought another brokerage. So think about Dominion Lending or DLC, the DLC group of companies all together are doing probably shy of $50 billion a year in mortgages, which is more than any bank does by its own. So the sheer volume of that brings with it super technology, a lot of investment in client safety and security. Like for instance, data security, we have end-to-end encrypted portals. A lot of investment goes into that just to keep the client's information safe. And then we have central underwriting unit, so I can actually reach any lender anywhere in any province. So it really gives us a big range of possibilities to help our clients.
Perfect, because I think I'm approaching 2,000 followers on the MyBC Consulting Facebook page. So in under a minute, when did you decide to get into being a mortgage broker? Before we get into your why.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been doing this for just over 2 years now, since I kind of started dabbling in mortgage broking, and it was just a fluke.
Well, there you go.
I came to Canada as a nurse, and when I had to move, and I discovered how hard it is for people to get the down payment, and it freaked me out. I'm just going to admit my fears. It freaked me out because then I thought I have 3 boys that I have to help and take care of. How are they going to ever pay rent and save for a down payment, which is just almost impossible. You need help to do that. So then I started investing because I said, okay, I'll buy a small condo, and I bought really something that was not looking promising at all. Bought a small condo, and I said, okay, within the next 15 or 18 years, I'm gonna pay off most of it with, offering it as rental housing, and then I'll be able to sell it, and I'm gonna give each one of my kids, a small nest egg so they can start their life, and they'll take it from there. Then I found myself renting my basement. I found myself buying that investment property, and then the portfolio just started growing slowly and gradually. So, and then I discovered, oh, this has changed my whole life. And the whole economy of the family changes when you do investments like that. And all of a sudden, there's all kinds of possibilities that are opening up, and I can help other people do it.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So realizing that I'm almost 50 and I won't be able to retire from the bedside as a nurse because I'm getting older. My body tells me that, right? The night shifts, they're not easy to do at my age. The support that we have in the hospital is diminishing. The requirements are increasing. The patients are becoming sicker, heavier. So okay, I can do it now. I've done it for 25 years. I need to start thinking about what's going to be my job before I retire, or maybe into retirement, because as an immigrant, came to Canada late, so my pension is expected to be quite small. So, and that leads into the why, right?
Yeah, we
planning for the future.
yeah. We have a unique why, and before we get into the why, so full disclosure, because for about 3 weeks in a row, I've been saying you got to tune into when I'm talking to the mortgage broker, because we have a unique why story connected. So how I know Manny is where Manny is sitting right now used to be my inspiration room. Manny purchased my house that in Walnut Grove area of the township of Langley, my house. And I knew Manny from being a nurse, because when he and his wife came to look at the house with their real estate agent and toured my home, and his son fell in love with one of the bedrooms. And that was one of the key factors of him raising his family in that home. And so fast forward about 2 years ago, I think we met in person once at a networking event, and it didn't clue into me because there was a lot of people in the room. And then since we've been Zooming, getting to know each other in different avenues, I remember I said, I looked at your background and you've now moved a shelf, and went, that backsplash looks really familiar. And he goes, Jeanette, I'm the Manny who's the ICU nurse who bought your house. I'm like, oh my gosh, of course you are. So, and it's been an absolute joy, Manny, watching you raise your boys, and what you did with the basement, because my parents lived in the basement suite, and you made a couple of bedrooms instead of one, and watching you help a family grow and thrive in your basement suite over the 5 years that you have lived in that house. So that's how I know Manny. I don't know his mortgage story, but I definitely know his family story. So I'm thrilled that you are still thriving in my old house, because I know for about 13 years I thrived at it.
Yeah, and you know, I told you that before, and this is a good place to say that again. I remember when we bought this house, Jeanette told us how she went to every room and blessed the room, right? And did little hearts, right, on the in the entrance. And we have been blessed. This house has been a blessing for us. We're so happy here. We're doing all kinds of upgrades now because we're not ever leaving this house. And Idan, he fell in love in that window sill that, you know, we can sit and read there. And I saw your inspiration in the room, and I said, okay, this is my office, because I always knew I'm going to be some sort of an entrepreneur. Maybe it's a complex. Maybe I just needed to be. Maybe I needed to feel important, so I needed to have my home office even before I had an excuse to have an office. So, but yeah, we absolutely love this house, and the basement it's been a blessing, really. So
I'm so glad. And I miss the front porch, because on cool days or rainy days, it was an absolute perfect place to curl up and watch the world go by on that porch, because I'm from London, Ontario originally, and porches were an important part of our growing up, because it could be really, really hot outside or humid outside, but you could still sit on your porch and connect with neighbors along the way. So, wow. Manny, let's just wrap up we'll leave this for you to say, what is your why in life again? Just recap, what's your why in life?
In life, well, it's kind of, it's given, you have to do something with it. But you know, I'm really happy that I get to connect with people, and I get to help people. And this is something I stole from you. Like, I stole from you to the point where I've updated my program to include that in my process, which is the lift model, and really coming to every interaction with the notion of lifting and helping people. And I'm proud to say, you know, there's a contractor here in Langley that his business is thriving because I'm busy lifting him, and and I helped him in a few points that were a bit more difficult, and helped him through that. There's a mechanic shop that opened in Port Coquitlam. The guy's been doing mechanic shop work out of his garage for roughly 10 years, and terrified. I don't know if I can open. I don't know if I can. It has all the, red seal, all the certificates, everything, accumulated all the tools and everything. And I said, no, we're opening. We're opening. Do you want me as a partner or just as a support? I will put money on you. And he didn't want me as a partner, which I'm very, very sorry because he's doing very well now, as I knew he would. But I lined up the realtor to find him the right place. I helped him sort his finances. I lined up backup loans in case he's going to need to default on them or default back and need them. And just that confident help him launch. He didn't need any of my help, none of it. I have money lined up for him. He didn't need it at all because he's so good at what he does, and he had apparently such a big following that he himself didn't realize, right? So now, first month he's done well, in second month he's doubled, third month he's doubled that, and he's, I think, 5 to 6 months into it right now. I'm still waiting for the call of Manny, I need help, and that call never came. He just needed that safety net, just that confidence, and I'm happy I could have been there to do it for him.
Wow, that's spectacular. Let's lift him up together by you saying the name of his company, and then does he have a Facebook page? Because afterwards we can put into the comments or a website or something like that Manny will put into the comments, maybe the guy's address and the name of his company.
Yeah, he has, I'll put something. I have,
Perfect.
I think he has a Facebook page, or I'll put all his contact information.
Perfect.
His name is Emmanuel from Ingenious Automotive in Port Coquitlam. Such a hard worker, such an honest guy. Like, if you need a mechanic, hands down, that's a guy to go to, and a business to support. He's great.
That is the perfect place to leave this. It ran a little long, but when you're in the flow of learning somebody's W5 story, I think if we close it off too soon, we forget a chapter on how we can help somebody. And that's what we did today, Manny. We're able to help a chapter of a business with a lifting up. And I thank you for sharing your story with me today. And I love the room that you're in. It provided me with great inspiration for me to continue on building my business out here as well. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much to you, Jeanette, for the opportunity to come and share my story.
Learn more about Manny. He'll put it in the comments. Bye-bye, everybody.